It is the Riot Perdkirst.
It is our fall fundraiser, so you got a special podcast this week. What year are we going to?
I'm looking at 2013, Nikki.
That's a good year.
It was a good year. It was giving the... Look, it's another gift thing.
I think maybe that's just we titled things differently.
We must do that way, yeah. Give the gift of Louis XVI's bloody handkerchief.
Oh, boy. Talk about Christmas you really want.
The onions are the devil's apples.
That we talk about every year, I think. Yeah. You like to call them devil's apples.
I enjoy that. I do. The weather guy eats cat vomit. Life chips. Bear with me.
Yeah. Oh, we used to do bear with me.
How about this one, Nikki? Blockbuster Video is closing.
That's in this?
That's a flashback to 2013.
That's quite a flashback.
So you guys enjoyed today's podcast. And remember, make sure that you give and support during the fall fundraiser. Go to RadioU.com, click on donate, tell them you listen to the podcast.
There'll be a comment section. You know, we'll see your name and where you're listening at. But in the comment section, put, I'm a podcast listener.
Podcast!
Yay! Hey. Thanks for listening. Honestly, really, thank you very much for listening.
Seriously. It's the Riot.
Have a good day.
The faster you give, the faster we can get back to our regularly scheduled programming, which means less of the Riot talking. It's a win-win situation. Donate now during Radio U's fall fundraiser. 877-2-RADIO-U. RadioU.com.
And I know we just had Christmas, but there are still birthdays coming. I mean, Nick and Nikki both, they don't share a birthday, but
it's pretty darn close.
They fight over birthday lunch in February. Now, that's true.
Oh, you know that season will be upon us before you know it.
That's well documented.
Good times.
Let's see, Nikki, you are the...
I'm the 19th, February 19th.
And Nick's the 17th or the 18th? Mm-hmm. Something like that. Okay, and then my dad's the 15th. And then there's Valentine's Day. And then anybody else? Because
Michael's
actually
birthday's in February.
That week for me is as expensive as...
Yeah, we go through a couple of weeks where it's crazy.
Between going to everyone's birthday lunch, buying presents, and doing Valentine's Day, you might as well call it second Christmas.
We have President's Day.
Or first Christmas, depending on how you want to look at it. So, all of that being said... Let's talk about what you get for the person who has everything. I mean, you just had Christmas. You just got them all this stuff. What do you get? How about, now just go with me here. What about a handkerchief? You're like, who wants a handkerchief? That's disgusting. Huh? A handkerchief dipped in the blood of Louis XVI just after he's been decapitated.
What do you think? What do you think? Does that say, I love you?
Come
Blood,
on.
red, Valentine's Day, love, heart.
I'll tell you what, dude. And where else are you going to get? I mean, it's Louis XVI's blood. He's been dead for so long. Like, he's not making any more.
That's a one-of-a-kind gift.
I mean, dude.
That's an investment.
Dude went to the guillotine January 21st, 1793. Dang, and I mean, unless you're getting a time machine and you're going back and you're like, hey, Louis, what's that? Oh, don't mind me. I'm just sampling some of your blood. You're not going to need it for much longer.
Here, I'll get that spot of blood with this handkerchief.
Let me get that for you.
So
right.
Now it's verified. It's not just like Kool-Aid.
DNA tested. They found, I mean, they can't be 100% certain, but they're testing it against dead or
the baby's daddy. DNA testing. You are not the father.
They called in Maury and his team of experts, and they have determined
DNA testing van, the truck.
They do believe, in fact, that this is the blood of Louis XVI.
It is not the blood.
They're testing it against DNA that was taken from his mummified head, and they believe that this is the guy.
So someone wants to sell the handkerchief?
No. I think they're going to probably put it
in a museum.
It belongs in a museum.
You can't sell something like that.
You should be able to.
No, I don't think you're supposed to with blood.
Says who?
Says human decency.
Oh, yeah. The same humans that cut his head off in the first place. I mean, we're all we're descendants of those people, right? So, see what the big deal is. So, you think as king, you've got it made, and then all of a sudden they seize you and cut your head off, and you're like, you can't do this. I'm the king.
Yeah, but that's the position where you should be most afraid. They'll turn on you in an instant.
So what you're saying is
you got to keep a low profile and be a little bit farther down the chain.
So you're saying that middle management is the future?
That's it. That's the only way you'll make it.
Middle management. You're not making a ton of money, but there's still enough to visit. You got enough to visit Redbox at the end of the week.
Yeah, not gonna, maybe not get that big promotion, but you're definitely not getting fired.
Yeah, it's true. And I mean, by Redbox, in this case, I mean decent seats at the next decapitation, but they call it the Redbox, but that's the blood. It's mostly dried. Don't worry about it. It's fine. So, yeah, we don't really do those these days.
That's a nice gift idea. Sometimes you might just go with a gift card or some roses. That's an option, too.
Okay. I mean, it's something to think about. What about, all right, I've got balloons in this hand and a red handkerchief in this one.
I would think you cut yourself and you just didn't realize it yet.
Nikki, that's not my blood. I can tell you right now.
This is someone's famous, you guess.
All right, Louis the 16th. It's something, well, I mean, his name was Louis and he's 16, but for $20, I got this handkerchief. I don't know.
So far, the Riot are the only ones we can convince to come in as early as they do. No Riot plus no money equals no RadioU. Support the Riot. Fall fundraiser, 877-2-RADIO-U. RadioU.com.
So, of course, we have to talk about what we were just talking about, which is this. I can't stand onions. And I've tried.
He's eating a breakfast sandwich. And
I am. And
the eggs come with onions, so then there's no egg being eaten.
Tim Hortons puts onions in their eggs. And they are probably the saddest little dehydrated flecks of onion you can imagine. I mean, they barely have the right to be referred to as such. Of that, I have absolutely no doubt. And yet, there is something in me that when the onion, like when I get onion in my mouth, it's like,
Well, why do you think that is?
You tell me. I have no idea. I really don't know. But I will tell you right now, like if I order something and they bring it out, I'll say, hey, I didn't want onions on it. I finally have gotten to the point where I'm like, if I think they're not listening to me, it's like I grab the waiter and I'm like, listen.
Look at my eyes.
I have a rare condition and I will die
if I have onions.
If I eat onions.
Do you understand me?
Do you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth?
Which I feel like is a bit aggressive when you could just... like you've actually adapted in the last...
You get the onion juice.
Well, you've adapted in the last couple of years. You like more stuff than you used to like.
I have really
So I just don't understand why... Like green onions.
Oh, no.
No?
No. I can remember one time my dad just being like, just eat it.
Just like it. I don't understand.
Just eat this. And me just being like...
So that's where this is all coming from?
No, before I hated them before that. And I can remember adults getting so frustrated with me, like going to McDonald's, there are onions on my cheeseburger. I don't want my cheeseburger now. I was like, why not?
It's had onions on it.
Like I said, I didn't want onions on it. They put onions on it. Eat it! You can't make me. I'm not eating it. I ate it here.
I can see that being a problem when you were younger.
Yeah, well, whatever had already, I was born with it in me. Here's what I think's funny is I have found out, if you go on my mom's side, like...
They're all onion haters?
No, they're not. But there are...
They're onion farmers?
No, they're not that either. There are just like a couple of people that I've never met that are apparently exactly like I am.
Really?
They refuse to eat onions. They hate everything from the ground. And it was just like, they just... Like, I was literally... born like that.
So you're not adopted. That is your family.
I know. Like
you know that's confirmation.
I know that I'm in there somewhere. I mean, the good thing, the one thing about it is like I have forced myself to begin eating vegetables. And it's good. I eat salad probably at least once a day. I eat like spinach and carrots, and sometimes I'll throw some other things in it, some peppers or cucumbers or whatever. And I just don't really, I'll eat tomatoes if I have to, but I'm not a fan. And I will also...
See, that's why I feel like, well, you're like that with tomatoes. Why wouldn't you develop that like onions?
Because they're Satan spawn.
Okay. Just hates him so much. There's no need to change him. That's just how he is.
I mean, apples. The devil's apples.
They're devil's apples. That's right. That's right.
It's an illusion. You think this thing will be good. You take a bite out of it.
I love that.
If you combine the first initials of Nikki, Obadiah, and Michael, you get Nom. Coincidence? We think nom. Let's get some chicken wings in here and get those donations going. RadioU Fall Fundraiser. 877-2-RADIO-U. RadioU.com.
Nikki, who's your, you don't have to say their name, but do you have a weatherman? Like,
no,
or
I
a
do.
weather girl?
I have
a weather person?
Actually, I have a weather app.
Okay.
So I don't watch news.
You don't?
It means I don't have a weather person.
I actually record a 30-minute clip of the news every night, and my DVR just deletes it and re-records it every single day.
Just to keep the DVR working?
Well, yeah, but no, the idea is this. I have found, personally, that you cannot beat local weather when it comes to weather. Because your app is probably fed by the National Weather Service. They don't have a clue about local weather patterns. They just are spitting it out nationwide. And a local weather person, especially if you find somebody who's been doing it for a while, typically they can give you a much better, more accurate forecast short term than what you get from like an app. And so, yeah, I have a thing where like every day it records. I almost never watch it.
Yeah, but it's there in case you want to.
Yeah, but if I want like a more detailed like local forecast, I can just hit my DVR
I never
up.
knew this about you. Normally, I just like to know if there's anything super major.
Yeah.
But otherwise, it's fine.
Yeah, well, if so,
I'm still going out each day.
Here's what's funny is if my weather app indicates something super major, then I go to my local forecaster and
watch
get
that then.
something a little more local.
Weird.
Yeah, I don't know. It just seemed like a thing. It's not like it requires any effort on my part.
That's true.
It's just there. I mean, that's kind of what the DVR is for, right? To watch TV because I don't want to. So I pay the cable company for cable, then pay for a box. So I pay
Set the
something.
box up to do something.
I pay the box to watch the TV I'm paying for and decide if it should get something for me.
Well, if you see something wrong with that, then you're looking too far into it.
Let's talk about Scott Haney. If you live in Hartford, everybody knows Scott Haney there on CBS.
Is it Hartford, Connecticut?
Is there another one?
Just making sure.
I'm just assuming that's where it is. Yesterday morning, Scott Haney's morning weather. He was working with the morning team there at Channel 3. And it's kind of weird, like he's on set, and they're all doing that awkward banter that news people do.
When you watch this, it seems like they don't like each other.
You don't think so?
It just comes off as awkward.
I just think that news people, they're very good at what they do, but
not bantering.
The cross chat a lot of times comes off as super awkward because they're each waiting for their chance to read the next thing. And so when anything gets in the way of the reading, it's like, okay, when am I? Okay, I'm reading. And then they feel better. Well, in this case, and it's really weird, Scott is sitting there and they've gone to a wide shot. They've got 4 people on their morning team there. And all of a sudden you just see him like kick his chair back, reach down and pick something off the floor, and then he throws it in his mouth.
And then they start bantering. Why would you do that?
Like, what are you doing? That's weird.
3-5 second rule, that sort of thing.
Because, let's face it. Like, who grabs... All right, I might do that. I might do that at home. I'm in the kitchen. I'm getting my breakfast ready. A little piece of egg drops on the floor, so I go ahead. I pick up the egg, pop it in my mouth.
But we weren't watching the whole broadcast. It might have been a joke or something. He just said he kept walking around, and he thought it was grape nut cereal, and that was around on the set, and so he thought that was just his cereal.
And so he grabs his cereal.
Ate it to be funny.
And he ate it. Everybody's like, ew, you're gross. He's like, ha, 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 ha. And then he had this to say.
Those were not grape nuts that I ate.
Ugh.
I kept finding more and more of it on the floor, and I thought it was grape nuts because it looked just like it. My cat threw up, and I must have stepped in it, and that's what I ate.
Disgusting.
I thought it was grape nuts. I ate cat vomit.
Okay, let's just one more time.
Nuts. I ate cat vomit.
Very good, very good. That's good to reiterate. Now, when we watch this video,
ate cat vomit.
We appreciate him as being a media man, because when you're sometimes in the media, or if you're in front of an audience, you got to take one for the team, and it's for the better good of the thing to be honest about what you just did.
Yeah.
Because it'll be a bit.
Yeah.
And he took one for the team there. He did it.
Hey, people all across the nation are talking about the CBS team in Hartford.
And we would not have any other time.
Because Scott ate cat vomit.
Yeah, so now it's a thing.
I ate cat vomit. And he didn't throw up or anything. He goes right into doing the weather, which is amazing because I want you to know something, that I think if I ate cat vomit, first off, it would kill me because I'm deathly allergic to cats.
I would think you'd be allergic to it.
And secondly, I think I would throw up all over the other nice members of the news team. Like, hey, guys, I ate cat.
That would be the only way that video would be any better. Like, can you imagine if there was such a video?
I would love it. I'm just...
live on TV all over the news desk.
Way to go, Scott. Holding it together, eating cat vomit. It's mornings on CBS.
You'll find Obie and Nikki on their best behavior during the fundraiser, and it has nothing to do with money. It's because Michael's in the room. The fall fundraiser on RadioU. 877-2-RADIO-U. RadioU.com.
It's kind of a war out there. I see it that way. Because, you know, you got who you are on the inside, that person that you are. And that person, I mean, think about it, like, can have fun, can do this, can do that. But after a while, what happens? You know, things happen. You get hurt, you get jaded, you know, things that you really want don't work out. And it's like a little bit at a time, that person that you are, it's like something's actively trying to chisel away at it. Like, take a little bit of this, take a little bit of that. You're like, I'm really happy. Well, that broke. All right, I'm not that happy anymore. I love that person. Well, they hate you. All right, take a little bit off of that. I want them to love me. They rejected me. And that's not the first time. And now, and eventually, like, it is this slow working of erosion, and it erodes away. And I think there are so many people day to day. It's just like, I'm not saying we're totally dead to the world. I mean, we're not, maybe it's not that bad, but my thing is this, is that life and the world has a tendency to work away at that stuff. Now, Jesus is kind of tired of that. He literally came. We think, it's so funny. Like, we think he came, and a lot of people think, like, well, Jesus is here to yell at people. He didn't come to condemn people. He said, no, you guys are condemned already. I'm actually here to make things better. I want to show you a way out, and I want to show you a way to have life and have it to the full. He says there's a thief that wants to steal from you, kill you, destroy you, work you over, but he wants you to have a full life, and he wants to do it. He wants to start on the inside. He wants to start restoring the things that people and life and circumstances have taken away from you. He wants to come into your heart and start opening windows and opening doors and fixing things. And then from the inside out, he wants to make you a new person. And I guess new in some ways, restoring the things that were broken. People would be like, something's different. And that's what God wants to do in your heart. That's the invitation. Do you want Jesus and his spirit to move into your heart to restore some of the things that have been taken from you? Or do you just want to, keep at the thing by yourself? I invited God in, and he has, and I'll say it's been a continual process, because there are times when God's like, let's fix this. And I'm like, don't touch that. And then eventually I'm like, you know what? You're right. I'm sorry.
Then you're ready for it.
I actually do need you to go and do that. And I'm sorry for my attitude. And God just loves you, man. He's like, hey, it's all right. He's already forgiven us. He's taken care of it. We're just inviting him in to keep at work, to change us. That's what I got. And it's yours if you want it. You want to be friends with God? You want him to move in? Just say, Jesus, I want that. I want you to come into my life. I want you to fix these things that are broken. And I want you to teach me how to live. And dude, God is all about that. He loves you. I mean, he's still God. He's still the big cheese or whatever. But he wants to be your friend too. If you got questions, you want to start somewhere, check out the helpline at helplinenow.org.
Don't worry, no one is mad at you for forgetting Obadiah's birthday last month. But that doesn't mean you can't make it up to him by donating to RadioU. Support the Riot Fall Fundraiser. 877-2-RADIO-U. RadioU.com.
It's been the time of mourning where we've been favoring animals. Yesterday at this time we were trolling. And this morning, we're bearing.
Oh, I like this one better.
Yeah, it's bear with me as we discuss panda bears, Nikki.
If we have to.
I know, right? There's a study here about pandas. One of the things they've been saying for years about pandas is that they have a very low immune system.
And they get sick a lot?
Mm-hmm. But guess what? They've been taking a look at pandas, stuttering them. Oh, my gosh.
Studying them?
Studying them. Studying them.
That makes more sense.
It does. And what they're discovering is they, in fact, have much stronger immune systems than previously thought. You're like, yeah, I care. So what? No. This means, Nikki, that you could bring a bear home and live with it without the fear of getting it sick.
Oh, that's so nice. That would be terrible. You have this majestic creature, it's just very, very much protected and loved. You bring it home for the weekend, you have a cold, it gets a cold, it dies.
You hear it sneeze all of a sudden.
You're like, oh no. And it won't take your antibiotics that you were given.
Like, here, it's pink, it tastes good.
Drink this. And then you have an international incident because you killed a panda bear.
Yes, you did, but it looks like that's not the case. They're a lot tougher than we thought. And so, go ahead, Nikki. It's time for us to start the process of illegally underground marketing, importing a panda.
Because you're not allowed to take pandas out of China outside of that.
No. Hey, what would it be like to just be walking through a neighborhood somewhere and you look in a window and you're like, is that
a panda bear?
Is there a panda? It's got to be stuff. It's moving. I think that's a panda. It's got to be a dog, right?
Now, what's popular is they'll take white dogs and they do the coloring around it to make it look like a panda, and that is super cute. Dog probably doesn't like it, but it's cute.
It's borderline abuse, but it's cool.
It's cute.
No big deal. You just get a chow, and then you dye its fur, and look.
It's a panda bear. There you go.
They even have white chows. They have black ones. You might have to dye them white.
Yeah, you'd have to go that way.
All right. Well, there you go, Nikki. It's time for us, like I said, let's get on Craigslist. Let's buy some pandas.
Let's
and
find
you know what?
it.
The thing would be is if we could find 2 pandas, and then we could breed them, and then we could start selling pandas.
Well,
China doesn't get to own all the pandas.
Well, they do.
Why?
They do.
Who can own the panda?
That's a moneymaker right there.
Yeah, well, you know what? We've got Kung Fu Panda. What about that?
That's not the same.
It could be.
I can take that home and not be afraid.
Can.
I can take it home for the weekend.
Yeah, he's stronger than you think he is, Nikki. Just because he's chubby doesn't mean that, and his immune system apparently now is good too. We should really get you a panda. We should.
Well, I still want to go and hold a panda. You can, just for a low price.
You could steal it.
You can steal it.
All we're asking you to do is keep donating until Nikki's puppy Instagram is popular enough to pay the bills around here. Radio U's fall fundraiser with the Riot. 877-2-RADIO-U. RadioU.com.
It started as a dream, Nikki. It was a dream to rent incredibly expensive small cartridges that contained magnetic tape inside them. Again, for far more than your average other location would rent them for. And then to move into locations, push out mom and pop stores, local businesses, and overcharge for these cartridges and that magnetic tape that contained films, movies as it were. But you couldn't buy them, you would rent them. And then if you didn't rewind them and bring them back, they would charge you more. It was a dream that seemed to thrive for a while, Nikki. But just like the seed on the rocky soil, though at first it did seem to grow, as time went on, the troubles of this life squelched out the life of that dream. And that dream was Blockbuster Video. And now it will be no more.
Now, to most, you're like, isn't Blockbuster Video gone already?
No, they still have 300 locations nationwide. 300 locations, that's a lot.
Dish Network bought Blockbuster, was it in 2011?
Because they thought 2 struggling companies together could be stronger.
It's like, gosh, Dish Network itself hardly does well. So you have those 2, and that led to the thought, well, maybe Blockbuster could continue. They scaled back, try to come back and reposition the company, that sort of thing, but they did just announce that they are closing the rest of the stores.
Goodbye, Blockbuster.
So it's goodbye for good.
Did you know that in its heyday, Blockbuster had over 9,000 retail outlets in the United States? It now has 300. Nikki, we have one not far from here.
Well, don't you feel
I'm
it's
going
interesting?
over there today.
Blockbuster got rid of all the other competition. And so they were the only ones. They themselves are now gone, which is why we either go to Redbox or Video on Demand. There's just no other rental stores.
I can't feel too sad for them because this I remember. I will never forget this. There was a video store that I used to go to, and I don't know, I'd gone there for a couple years or whatever, and one day I pull up and they have these massive signs in their window that are like, Blockbuster is forcing us to close, because they were in a like strip mall where you go and rent stuff, and Blockbuster has a non-compete clause. Like, if they come into your strip mall,
they have to go.
If there's anybody else in there that rents videotapes, like DVDs or whatever, they're out. Well, that killed the mom and pop store there, and now another little something has come and killed
the big
them.
one.
So
I'm not surprised at all.
I'm still going to their funeral, and like I said, while they're on their deathbed, I'm going over to hold their hand later today. You want to go over to the Blockbuster with me?
Why? You think you can get a deal?
Oh, no. I just want to go over and say goodbye to it.
Don't troll them.
I did it before.
Employees are sad.
Remember like 2 years ago when I was like, hey, what's it like to go to Blockbuster? And I went? Well, I'm going to go again.
And you took a picture.
Well, I didn't take a picture of them. It was me with the Blockbuster sign. It's a nice picture.
And then that's it.
Well, we could go together. This is a fading opportunity, Nikki, for us to get our picture with a Blockbuster sign, because
Before it's gone.
Pretty soon it's going to be like this. Grandma, tell me what Blockbuster was like. Like, well, Billy, when I was your age, we didn't have brain video on demand.
And so I need to have a picture to show?
We would walk. Look, here's my coworker and I standing outside the last Blockbuster.
Hey, it'd be Uncle Obadiah.
Yeah, Uncle Obadiah, the crazy man that we visit in the home sometimes. Well, this is he and I before he was completely gone. Standing in front of the Blockbuster.
Look, he looked so happy. He's strolling. He was so happy.
He was there to make fun of them. And he was only truly alive when he was stepping on someone else.
Do you see that twinkle in his eye?
See how happy he was at the misfortune of others? This meant a loss of jobs, and yet he chuckled. He is a terrible man. Let's not visit him anymore. Grandma's getting upset. She's getting upset. So, yeah, Blockbuster.
Oh, boy, if that wasn't a glimpse into our future, I don't know what was.
But I am sorry to hear that people are, losing out. But Blockbuster.
And all those Blu-rays that need homes.
Well, you know what? We should go over there and see if there's some that need to come to our homes.
The worst of the riot is over, but the fun can keep going.
Hey, I saw you checking out my goods.
Check the Riot blog or stalk us on social media.
You want to sample them? A little try before you buy, huh?
Through riot.radiou.com.